a seaside playground left untouched for over a year. Antalya is steeped in history, dating back to 150 BC. Famous for the Roman Gate, the Olympos Amphitheatre, and the once bustling marketplaces. Usually a hot spot for tourists seeking culture, seaside adventure, and a bargain or two. But not today. Today, Antalya hosts the European Archery Championships. It's a beautiful day here on the turquoise coast, a fitting location for a European Championships delayed by 1 year. As I said, the weather is absolutely stunning here today, and the weather's played a big part in the tournament right the way through qualification. The wind blowing away, but 26 degrees, a very pleasant morning here in Antalya. Coming up in our first session on compound Saturday, and the team events, the bronze and gold medal matches for the women's and men's team back to back. So a packed schedule for this morning's session. As I said, the weather is playing its part, but let's take a quick look at how the teams got to the medal matches. Turkey losing out to the Netherlands in the top of the draw, and Italy dropping out to France. So the bronze medal match coming up first will be between Turkey and Italy, followed by Netherlands versus France for gold. And out come the teams already for the bronze medal match. The last European Championships were in Legnica in Poland in 2018, scheduled to take place last year, but for obvious reasons they were delayed. This in fact was the gold medal match back in Poland in 2018. Let's hand over to the stadium announcer to welcome the teams for the bronze medal match, Turkey versus Italy.
Representing Turkey, Yeşil Costa, Gizem Elmaçi, Ayşe Pera Suzer. On target number 2, representing Italy, Irene Franchini, Sara Rett, Marcella Tognoli. The line judge for this match is Katerina Goncalova.
Well, already announced out to the crowd, and remember this was the gold medal match at the last European Championships. Joining me, Karen Bashir, for this coverage today on Compound Saturday is former international Nikki Hunt. Nikki, two massive teams in this bronze medal match.
Yeah, they really are, and quite windy conditions here on the field in Antalya, so let's see if that plays a part.
So we will start end number 1. Cumulative score, the archers will shoot 2 arrows each in segments of 3. So to get us underway, it's Italy. Well, holding off for a long time there. Look at the wind, Nikki. Incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, we're right by the coast here in Antalya, so the conditions can really change. So it's not always a nice consistent wind, but really can switch direction as well.
The best of the 3 coming at the end from Tognoli. Much better start from the Turkish team. Very good indeed. 2 10s to start things off. And here comes their star player. It's in Boston. Not had the best of tournaments here in Antalya on home soil, Turkey, but pleased to be competing for a bronze, no doubt.
Yeah, you know, they obviously know this field really well. I think that's going to give them a bit of confidence here against Italy in this match.
Frankie going much better with her second arrow. Sarah Rett, world number 121, the youngest member of the Italian team at just 23. Just keeping that on the 9 ring. A good finish from Marcella Tonioli. 54 is very gettable for this Turkish team.
You can really see the wind, can't you? The bow moving around, the archer having to really hold it as still as they can to get it through into the middle. So they've only got 20 seconds per arrow, effectively, 2 minutes for the total of 6 arrows. And that's going to be key in these matches today with the wind. Often it will take longer to get these arrows off, and if they're using up lots of time, you might find then they're rushing at the end, as we saw Antoni doing so on the other Italian team.
Well, they're on for a relatively big lead here. Boston scored a 9 with a first arrow, and it's another 9 here. So a 56 gives them a 2-point lead. And remember, the scores just build up through the ends here. Nikki, you were always talking about going through the process and not really trying not to hold on too much because of the wind, but the conditions are so blowy out there. They clearly are holding on a little bit.
Yeah, we talk a lot about in compound punching, don't we? And you know, the different styles of setting that bow off. So for those who are just pushing and pulling and trying to do a surprise release, it is really tricky because the sight is moving around and you're just hopeful that it will go off at the point where it's over the middle. But some of these guys, I would say, are punching, so you can see when they're you know, consciously making that release happen, and that can actually really work well in the wind because you can literally be over the top of the gold and punch it. Well, you can have a bit of advantage there potentially, but like I say, for me it's a bit of a slippery slope, I think, with that one. So I wouldn't recommend shooting that way, but people do, and they do very successfully. So, you know, it's going to play a part in this windy field today.
Yeah, it's interesting that it's become a bit of a vogue topic at the moment, the punches out there. And, I know that you're not necessarily a fan. It's a bit of accessorising on, I think that was Boston's cap, wasn't it?
Yeah, it looked like a little blind, but also a little picture of the arrow right in the middle of the target. A lovely, you know, image that you want to remember where your arrow's going to go.
There's actually with the nice little accessory on there. But yeah, punching has become a sort of a bit of current affairs really at the moment in archery. And whilst you're not a fan, it seems that more and more of certainly the younger archers are adopting that approach.
Yeah, it can work well, like I say, particularly in the windier conditions. For me, it's a bit of a ticking time bomb because at some point, you know, sometimes it goes wrong, and then it can go wrong quite badly. So, like I say, I'd always go with the method of that subconscious release, but, you know, it's going to play a factor here, and if you can punch successfully in the wind, you're probably going to be on top.
Yeah, so the conditions in Antalya have been very interesting, known for its chopping and changing windy conditions. Right by the coast, you can really see those flags billowing in the wind. Lightning actually stopped play earlier on this week. A lot of rain, but no sight of any precipitation here today. Totally clear blue skies and very warm. So I'm sure in some ways the wind is a bit of blessed relief for them when they're not shooting. Italy trailing by 2 points in the early stages of this bronze medal match at the European Championships in Antalya. And they will shoot first in end number 2.
Forse tocca anche il 10 ora e 3.
No, 9
alla porta sta. 9 ore e 8.
Nine.
Vai Marci.
Nine.
9 di riga, ora e 4.
Another quick shot there from the anchor of the team. I think she's aware of the time, you know, you've got to get those arrows off quickly, and even if that was a relatively easier end with the wind, the next time they might get hit, so that's important.
As Sousa pulling over to the left.
6.
Gives Italy an opportunity to close the gap. Number 24 is him unlikely putting them back in the middle.
Nine.
So all square now at this point. It was the 6 that allowed for Italy to close up, even though they weren't on the shooting line. And Irene Franchini, 39-year-old world number 37, back up to the shooting line. Sarah Ratt's been a consistent 9-point scorer here in this match so far. That's her first 10. Good pressure from Italy, this.
Yeah, it's exactly what they needed, wasn't it? 2 10s so far. Just looking at Tolini's, where she's putting her thumb on the trigger there. Very different type of trigger, much bigger in size.
9.
Something you can individualise now and, you know, get the right fit for you, right shape for you.
Finishing with a 9, so this is a gettable score. Isa Sousa, 25-year-old, steps up to the line.
9.
And now they can only match, but they're going to require 2 10s here from Elma Ackley and Yes in Boston.
Nine.
So just like that, the whole thing switches around. Turkey went into this end with a 2-point lead, but a 6 right at the very start caused them the issue, and Italy capitalised quite frankly. They shot when they came back out. They shot 2 10s and a 9 to not only capitalise on closing the gap, but actually taking the lead.
Yeah, for compounds, you know, we're shooting raw score, so sometimes, you know, really good conditions, sometimes it can be hard to bring back the score after a 6 like that, but when it's windy like this, it is much more open, anything can happen, so, you know, they're right back into it, aren't they now?
Have you seen anything in terms of, I mean, we've seen both teams shooting 6s, Italy in the first and Turkey in the second. Do you think it is just down to wind, or have there been obvious mistakes in process?
Yeah, I think generally it's mostly been down to the wind so far. Quite different styles. I think most of the Italian team are pushing and pulling, that subconscious release, and I think the Turkish team generally are more punching the shot. You can see the second archer in the Turkish team using a wrist release and the first finger on there. So, you know, different styles, but like I say, that could really work for them here in the wind. So, you know, this is where they shoot, this is where they train. Fantastic field here in Antalya. So they know this field inside out, you know, that really should give them the advantage.
Yeah, and you would have expected that throughout the week, but Turkey have not had their best tournament here. Trying to stay relaxed though, as Isa Souza prepares to step up to the line. Turkey now trailing Italy for bronze here at the European Championships in the compound women's team event. Halfway stage, so it's time for end number 3.
Look at those wind flags in the background there, really lapping along with the wind. The thing with the compound is they pull in, you know, up to 60 pounds, but when they get to full draw, those cams are rolled over. They're only actually holding maybe 12, 15 pounds, so it's very light, and you do get buffeted by the wind.
9.
Getting away with that, a couple of 9s there, and Boston stepping up. Got a 10 at our last visit.
9.
Pretty quick arrow there, and for Nisa, 27s for them halfway through this third end. So we switch over to the Italians.
So the archers can shoot in any order on those target faces. You can see a difference between the teams. As long as 3 arrows are in each face, then that's fine.
Nine.
A destra ore 3.
28 points.
Well, a gain of a single point for Italy through the first half of this third end. A little bit of pressure on Turkey here. Just one end to go. Need to put down some big scores here, or hope for a mistake or the wind to affect the Italians.
Just watch that first finger going onto the trigger.
Well, that's certainly not what she was looking for. Just pulled that a little left. So yes, in Boston. Well, number 5. Looking to dig into her reserves. Well, potential here for Italy to get a 5-point lead here. All 3 archers would have to hit the 10 to do that. Quite a lengthy process Sarah Rett goes through.
Yeah, clipping the release on to the string, and you know these compounds get a release aid, and that usually shot on a D loop.
It's a 10.
Well, looks like she's got a 10 here, so 2-point gain already in the second half of this end. Antonioli pumps it into the 9. So look at that, a 4-point lead now for the Italians. And that is a big ask even for this strong Turkish team to come back from. Possible in a 4th end for them to do it?
I think given the conditions here, anything is possible, it really is. A 4-point lead is nothing. So yeah, let's just see what happens, because it only takes you to get hit with some wind, and like we've seen a couple of 6s already, and you know that's your 4 points in 1 arrow.
Yeah, we have seen a couple of sixes, you're quite right. The conditions here are so changeable as well. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult in these close shots to see what's going on, but when you get the wider shots, just have a look at the flags in the different areas. There are 2 flags towards the end of the range on the compound 50-metre range just before the target there, and on the recurve range a little bit between 15 and 20 metres a bit further down the range, and those flags are blowing in different directions a lot of the time, so just within the space of 15 metres the conditions change. You can see the flags around the shooting line all blowing in one direction. You get a wider shot of the range, you'll see sometimes no wind at all, and look, change already.
Yeah, down to their right is a big hedge, so sometimes the wind can come across, hit that and bounce straight off again, so it can create a bit of a swirl effect. So yeah, like you said, the flags down the range are really critical to see what's happening at what point.
Yeah, so it can look really blowy on the shooting line, and then it's all calm later on down lines. And if you look at the flags in the background now, the wind's just dropped off here. In fancy the Turkish team, we want to get straight out and take advantage of the calm conditions. Up steps Isa Souza for end number 4. Big opportunity now to really hammer down the pressure. Bostan following up Souza and Elma Ahdi, who both scored 10s. That's a 10 for her. Communication between the athletes so important, isn't it, Nikki? They've put those ones really close together.
Yeah, so you'll be communicating, you know, where did you aim? Did you have to aim off? Did you bubble slightly? So in compound, they've got that little bubble in the front of the scope you can just see there, and you can tilt the bow over, and that could be a way of aiming off as well. So communicate that to your teammates so they know where to aim as well.
Great response from Irene Franchini. Sarah Rett up for her first arrow of this 4th end. Staying relaxed, a 9 is enough. Remember, they come into this 4th and final end with a 4-point lead, giving up one of those points, but still 3 ahead. Dropping just the 1 point of the 4-point lead is, well, they'll be more than happy with that at this stage.
Yeah, look at the flags now. Completely dropped, doesn't it? So, yeah, the conditions just so changeable, and that's an archer's worst nightmare. If you've got a constant wind, you can just adjust your sight, but when it's breezy like this, you have to be on top of it and change quickly as the conditions change.
Good opportunity for some big points here with the wind calm down a little bit, but Isa Souza only getting a 9. Back into the 10s for Al-Ahli. I think Boston's going to have plenty of time here to set this one up. She looks very relaxed. Gets 10 there, so a 59 out of 60 leaves the Turkish team on 2-2-1 with 2-2-5 available to the Italians. Irene Franchini steps up for her last arrow. Bella indeed, a beautiful shot there. Takes a little bit of pressure off her teammates, and crucially, Nikki got the shot out pretty quickly, so didn't use up too much time.
Yeah, like you say, the conditions a little bit calmer now, so getting those shots off a little bit easier, and yeah, don't want to be too rushed on the last ones.
Yeah, giving Rhett plenty of time. She has got the longest of the processes. Tonioli up to the line now, requiring an 8 for European bronze. Lovely final arrow from her. A 10 to finish with a 2-2-4 for the Italians. Italy faced Turkey and lost them at the last European Championships in the gold medal match. Here they got their revenge to win bronze. 2-24 Italy, 2-21 to Turkey, and we will see Sarah Rett, Irini Franchini and Marcella Tonioli on the podium a little bit later today. Well, Nikki, Turkey took the lead early doors, and as we often say in commentary, it comes down to one arrow, effectively, because the first arrow of the second end, the Isa Souza shot into the 6, really, then they never recovered from that arrow, and it was only, what, their 7th arrow of the match.
Yeah, I think the conditions were so different when the beginning of the match was quite windy the first couple of ends, and then it really calmed down at the end there. So, you know, that made a huge difference. Italy had a 6 in their first arrow, so, you know, it was a really toss and tail between them, and yeah, just Italy taking the win in the end.
Yeah, brilliant performance from the Italian team. They did shoot a 6 to start with, but then it was 9s and 10s from that moment on. And Italy have taken bronze at the European Championships, following up the silver they won in 2018. So we take a look back at the match. We look at not only the archers' technique, but also their fantastically, well, modern age state-of-the-art equipment, all designed specifically for each athlete. I think there was a level of acceptance that the conditions were actually going to play a part here for both teams. There wasn't so much disappointment from the Turkish team, but neither was there a huge amount of sort of celebration from Italy. I mean, the high fives and the fist bumps at the moment are probably about as far as they went in terms of the celebrations. They didn't. I think both teams went into this knowing that conditions were going to play a part.
Yeah, it's a notoriously windy field right by the coast, so I think they both knew it was going to be tough.
Well, Italy have taken the bronze. Now it's time for the gold medal match in the compound women's team event between the Netherlands and France. Big match up here. Neither team got medals at the last European Championships, and this time they're contesting the gold medal match. Let's hand back to the stadium announcer for the team announcements.
On target number 1, representing the Netherlands, Sanne de Laat, Inge van der Ven, Jody Vermeulen. On target number 2, France, Sophie Dodemont, Lola Granger, Tiffany Renaudin. The line judge of this match is Christina Tiflidou.
Well, here we go. It's Netherlands versus France. The Netherlands lineup is Sanne de Laat, 26-year-old, is a world number 32. Inge van der Ven, who is 29 years old and world number 127. And Jody Vermeulen, the 27-year-old, world number 15. Go up against the French team. Lola Grandjean is just 21, world ranked 160. Tiffany Renaudin is 24 years old and the world number 75, and the anchor for the team is Sophie Dodemont, who's 47 years young and the world number 7. First to shoot, it will be the Netherlands, and this is Inge van der Ven. Oh, my apologies, it's Sanne de Laat starting for them. Again out, wide into the 6. Is that aim or is that wind?
I imagine it's a little bit of wind, probably. Differences from the practice field coming across here into a different part of the field. Look at the flags again, waving fiercely behind them, so this is tough.
Yeah, and that is Van der Ven shooting second. And just managing a 7 there. What can Jody Vermeulen, the most experienced and highest ranked Dutch archer, do. Straight into the 10 for her. That will help calm the nerves of her two teammates. Daudemont leading the way for the French team for their first 3 arrows of this first end. Le Grand Jean. Just putting out to the left there for an 8. Grandjean has emerged from the restricted period we've been in and started to show some good performances already on the circuit. Tiffany Renaudin finishing things off with an 8 and a 3-point lead already for the French team. But conditions are very changeable indeed. Back to Sanderlat for the Netherlands.
Different style of release aid, thumbs off, it's a hinge, just pull in. Same again, Jodie as well, you see the thumb off, just pull in, it's as that release aid turns the angle.
Well, as you can see, the 5th arrow is subject to a measure there, but much better shooting from the 2 less experienced members of the Dutch team, finishing with a 27 out of 30.
Eight.
Sharp amongst you will notice that the French have changed their order. In fact, the French would normally shoot this way with Daudemont leading out with the first arrow and finishing up with the last. A bit of a tactic from the French, and if you look at the scores, the first and the last arrows are the best, showing the class of Sophie Daudemont.
Yeah, she's a fantastic archer, world number 7 and a previous Olympian, picking up a bronze medal back in Beijing in 2008. So vast experience, and that's why she's leading them out. You know, it's a tougher position, I think, sometimes to lead out the first arrow of a match and then close up as well. So that's why there's 2 sort of younger French archers taking the slightly easier positions if there were. So.
You talk about Olympic medals for Sophie Daudemont. Compound doesn't feature at the Olympic Games, so I'm guessing that she used to shoot recurve then.
She did indeed. She used to shoot recurve. She switched over some years back and had amazing success with compound. You know, she's been on the circuit now several years with a compound and shot amazingly well. So yeah, very, very experienced archer in both disciplines. Not many people have done that.
No, I think I'm sitting next to someone that has done it. Did you go the same direction? You shot recurve first and then moved to compound?
No, well, I shot recurve as a junior, shot for GB, and then I came out as an international senior as compound, and then went over to recurve.
So you did a double switch in your career then. Amazing. Which is harder then? I'm going to put you on the spot now, get you in trouble with all the archery fans.
Oh, it's a terrible question, isn't it? I think compound is more simple, if that makes sense. There's less elements to it, but it's more of a mind game. You know, shooting compound is all about hitting a 10. If you don't hit a 10, then you're at risk. So I think it's much more of a mind game, whereas recurve is much more of a physical game. You've got to train really, really hard and really, really regularly.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's a wonder when you look at how good and how disciplined the compound archers are, why it isn't already on the Olympic programme. There we go, doing my bit for World Archery and getting compound into the Olympic Games. Recurve is the only discipline at the moment. The Netherlands are still trailing in this gold medal match will shoot first in end number 2. Sandalat starting off with a 9. The measured arrow in the first end was not marked up for the Dutch team, so the 2-point lead remained for France. Bit of a longer hold from Inge van der Ven, but another 9 for her was Jodie Vermeulen with the last of the first set of arrows for the Netherlands in end number 2.
Fractie laag, Sanne, zeg maar, ja, rond 10 laag.
We've got both ends of the scale here. Sophie Dodemont, very experienced at 47 years old, handing over to Lola Grandjean, who's just 21, and Tiffany Renaudin, who's 24. How much is having that solid, you know, regular 10 scorer at the start and the finish of your team rotation? How much confidence does that give you?
It's going to help because, you know, straight away, you know, you've already got a 10 on the board, and, you know, the team round, as you can see there, fist bumps, you know, it's all about the team and feeling a part of it out there. So it's very different from the individual when you stood there on your own, and, you know, that makes a big difference.
Again, of another point for France halfway through this second end. Netherlands really struggling. Just going to the line for 105. There is an opportunity for rather a hefty lead here as we hand back to Lola Grandjean. Pretty impressed with her, Nikki. She's really sort of burst out the scenes. Obviously, the restrictions we've had because of the global pandemic have meant that we've kind of missed the coming of age of the juniors that were turning into seniors over the last 18 months. But Grandjean looks like the real package.
Yeah, you know, it's so difficult to know what people have been doing in lockdowns, and, you know, for some people it's been really beneficial. They've had more time than ever to shoot, others not so. So, yeah, it's fantastic to see some new faces really coming through.
So, Dodemont closing things out in the second end for France. Chance for a 4-point lead here. And she has put that into the 9, so it is a 3-point lead, an extension of 1 by the French team. They look very, very solid. I think we've got a clip a little bit earlier of Inge van der Ven's tattoo, a fairly popular thing amongst archers across the globe. Van der Ven's got what looks like a tattoo of a fox. And they're really going to need all their cunning and guile to get back into this one. Rendered my expert analyst speechless there. But they, in all seriousness though, Nikki, they are going to need to find a way through, because the French squad, the French team actually look like a very, very solid unit. There doesn't actually seem to be that much communication going, just the odd word here and there.
Yeah, they've really dialed in now, haven't they? So, you know, good fist bumps again between them as a unit. You know, it is an individual sport. You go out there and shoot your arrow on the line, but if you can communicate between your team, then that helps, especially in winning conditions. But yeah, they're really into their stride now, aren't they?
Yeah, they do just look like a stronger unit at the moment. This is for the gold medal, and having this relaxation. Look, I mean, even the youngest member of the team able to it's not showboating, but recognise that the cameras are actually looking at her and giving acknowledgement to that. That's the nature of this team. Very relaxed. Halfway stage though, and that wind is still changeable. Let's put it that way. It's not a very strong wind, but it just keeps changing and dropping. It really will have an effect, and it could have an effect on just one arrow in the remainder of this match. Netherlands trailing by 3 points will shoot first, and it is Sanderlat shooting first as the Dutch stick with their order.
Mooi. 9,9 links op hoogte. Dat was prima gedaan.
You can see that second line on the stage there, so the archer's got to move across that one at a time. If they go too soon, they could get a yellow card.
X10.
Good bit of pressure from the Netherlands, 9, 10, 10 for the first 3 arrows. Doden will back up.
Nine.
Really not fussy at all, is it, that process that she goes through? It's very deliberate, very direct. I mean, it's each to their own, of course. All individual archers will have a slightly different process, but it just seems that there's not much that needs to be corrected, or if something goes wrong, there's not much that you would need to fix with the Grandjean's process.
Yeah, you know, it's keep it simple, do the same thing every time. It's all about consistency, and yeah, she's nailing that right now.
Well, a 1 point gain from the Netherlands through that first half, but second arrow from Sanderlat going into the 8. Perhaps it'll get marked up to a 9. It's going to be measured.
See a big swing of the arm there. She knew it wasn't in the right place when it went off. Tried to correct it, but not enough.
Well, having gained a mini advantage through the first half, the Netherlands, they've opened the door for the French team to build on their lead, and fist bumps all round for Lola Grandjean. So 2 10s, and that's before the most experienced member of the French team, Dodemont, steps up. She actually shot 2 consecutive 9s to get to this point. Is she going to get back in the 10s? Yes, she is, and a great grouping on that last 3 arrows from the French team. A 166 to 160 lead for the French team, and again, it's all about the solidity of that unit.
Yeah, just shooting really well together now, aren't they? Like you said, they just look really relaxed as a team and really into their stride.
We take a look back at that end. Sanderlat shooting that 8 that's going to go for a measure. And Jody Mullen unusually shooting an 8 to finish off for the Dutch in that end.
Quite a high start point there, but as long as those two hands are at the same level, then that's fine. She's just using, you know, really get better lats kicking in if you draw nice and high, but both hands must be at the same height. You can't have the back one lower.
6 points lead.
Is that simply because the arrow will always go higher if your backhand's lower?
Yeah, if you draw with the backhand lower, obviously if something went wrong and the arrow went off, the trajectory would be too great. So you must have your hands level wherever you do with them as you draw.
Well, they had the measure here for this gold medal match. We're just waiting for confirmation. The provisional score is 160 for the Dutch team. They could have been marked up to 161, but either way, the French team are in pole position as we go into end number 4.
The wind really lapping up now. You can see that bow moving around. That was a tough arrow and a great 9 from it.
Yeah, sigh of relief there from the Lat. Still blowing for Van der Ven's first arrow of this all-important stage, and that's a great shot as well, isn't it?
Yeah, she dealt with that so well. You know, these two archers here shooting, on, like I said, with these hinges, so you can't really trick them. You can if you really want to, but I think they're really pushing and pulling through it, and it is tough in these conditions. They're shooting really well.
Great response there. They did not get marked up in the last end, so came in with a 160, shot a 29 through the first 3 arrows out of a potential 30. What's going to be the response from this strong unit that is France?
Allez, bien fort, Lola, bien confiance en toi. Allez. Fais fort, tu maintiens. Yes.
Everything's very deliberate from
Allez, Tiffen.
Lola Grandjean. I think we're going to see a lot more from this young French archer.
Allez.
Tiffany Renaudin with her penultimate arrow of this gold medal match for the European title, puts it into the 9. So matching the Dutch. So even as the Dutch have raised their game for this final end, the French have levelled up with them. Still a 6-point gap.
Nine.
Allez, Lola, réfléchis pas.
Nine.
3 9s, the last one subject to a measure puts them on a 207, sorry, 216, potentially getting marked up to a 217. So 218 will be unachievable.
Allez, Tiffen, tu prépares bien les choses. Allez, Marissa, allez.
I think she was a little bit, wasn't sure where that shot was going to go into lighter when it hit the 9 then.
Quick shot there. Massive room for error for Sophie Dodemont. French team on the verge of taking what should have been the 2020 European title here in Antalya in 2021. Our finishes with a beauty as well. Absolutely great stuff from this strong French team. A 224-216 dominant win for the French team of Lola Grandjean, Tiffany Renaudin, and the supreme anchor of that team, Sophie Dodemont. Means France are the European champions here in Antalya.
Also for the silver medal to the Netherlands.
it's not often you say this about a Dutch team, but they were second best in that final.
Yeah, they certainly were. You know, France came out, Sophie just leading those 10 to start and 10 to finish, their teammates opening with 8, but they soon settled in with some great shots all the way through the match, and yeah, they just ran away with it from there, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, maybe the start from Sunderland with the 6, followed up by Inge van der Ven with a 7, set the tone for them, and they just didn't recover from it. But France was supreme throughout. Well, they get themselves off. I'm going to sound a bit like a broken record, but Sophie Dodemon's superb, absolutely brilliant as the anchor for the team, the captain for sure. But Lola Grandjean, in particular, it really is not. She's already impressed on the circuit, and now she's really showing that she can do it consistently.
Yeah, I think, you know, coming out as part of a team here is a great experience for her, and over time she's going to learn from that. And you know, when you're getting those experiences out on this stage, and that really helps you as you go forward then as an individual, and I'm sure we're going to see more of her.
Yeah, I think we are as well, and under great tutelage of this lady here. Switched from recurve, having taken medal at the Olympic Games, to shoot compound, and now at the top of the compound rankings as well, world number 7. A solid performance from Tiffany Renaudin as well, a 24-year-old playing her part in a strong unit that is the French team, led by Dodemont. And celebrations from the coach and amongst the athletes themselves. They're European champions of 2021. And I think there's a lot more to come from this French team. I believe that they are getting the athletes ready to talk to us. We'll take a look out, and you can see that wind blowing still around the ground. But if you look at the trees in the background there, it's only really the very tops of those trees that are blowing. So, and if you look at the flags as well, at the moment, the flags on the left-hand side by the end, looking like they're blowing in the same direction. But let's go and see what the European champions have to say.
You are European champions. What does it mean to win such a big event? You must be very proud.
Qu'est-ce qui nous rend très fiers de ce qu'on a fait? Merci. Ce qui nous rend fiers, c'est que c'est notre deuxième sortie en équipe. C'est une équipe toute nouvelle, toute neuve. Et on a su très vite être en osmose. Et ça a fonctionné aujourd'hui. On en est très fiers. On espère continuer le plus loin possible.
And can you please translate?
Oh, okay. So we are proud because it's a new team, and we just won a medal in Lausanne in the second World Cup, a bronze medal, and and now an European Championship title. So we are so proud of
Great.
that.
And now for her.
Yes.
Great. You had such a strong start, and it seemed that the lead only grew. How important was that lead at the beginning?
Ok. En gros, on a démarré super forte et ensuite on a en gros continué dans notre truc. En quoi ça a été super important de démarrer aussi fort?
Bah, c'est vrai que notre objectif dès le départ, c'était de faire notre tir et pas s'occuper de ce qui se passait autour, que ce soit le vent ou l'autre équipe. Donc on est vraiment resté dans notre tir et jusqu'au bout de la première à la dernière, on a été concentrés et pour faire le maximum et le 10.
Sorry, I'm so stressful. We were just on our shot because there is a lot of wind and there is like the the pressure, and we were just about our shot, so it was so important to shoot well at the beginning to continue. So
Great. And then,
yeah.
And then for you, you're a mixture of youth and experience. How important is that to your team's success?
It's really important for me because I won some medal, but in youth competition like Youth Cup, and now I'm in senior with the adults. So I'm really happy to start with 2 medals at my 2 first competitions. So I'm so proud of my teammates and myself, and that's so cool.
All right, congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck moving forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On va aller voir les Français là.
Well, I think cool's the right word for Lola Grandjean, doing the translation job for the French team there. They did mention the wind. They mentioned that they've stuck to their own shots, they've played their own game, and it's working for them. And as Lola Grandjean very modestly said, she's done 2 senior competitions and has come away from both of them with a medal. She looks like not only the real deal in terms of archery, but she looks like she could take over as the leader of the team.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, a lot of people come through as a member of a team like this and then go on to individual success as well, and you know, she's really gaining that confidence, and I think we'll see more of her as an individual to come.
Now for the victory ceremony for the compound women's team here, been through the tournament to get to this stage. 3 years since the last medal ceremonies at European Championships in Legnica, Poland. Due to take place every 2 years, but for obvious reasons were delayed by a year. A fitting finish to the compound women's team event. France dominant in their victory over the Netherlands to take the gold medal. Beating Turkey in the bronze medal playoff, taking 3rd place in the European Championships of 2021 is Italy. Medal's been handed out already to Sara Rett, Irene Francini and Marcella Tonioli. Weren't quite at the races in the final. The silver medal goes to the Netherlands. Sander Lat, Inga van der Ven and Jodie Vermeulen. Ah, look at that. That's a routine I think they've practiced there. New COVID protocols for medal celebrations. You get one in a team event from your teammate. Sharp, clever. Silver medal for the Netherlands, but French team looking incredibly strong here. I think we're going to see these 3 archers on the podium in times to come. That is for sure. Grandjean, the bright new thing in the French archery team, is joined by Tiffany Renaudin and the captain of the team, Sophie Daudemont. France are the European champions. It's time to celebrate with their anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm round of applause to our athletes.
Well, there we have it, going for the obligatory photo shoot. These championships have happened in a secure way, everybody wearing masks on the podium obviously. When they're not shooting, they're wearing them as well. But everyone following the protocols that have now become commonplace at international sports events to prevent any transmission of the COVID-19 virus. And here are the final rankings at the European Championships for the compound women. France dominant in the final, taking a gold medal from the Netherlands. Italy beating Turkey for the bronze. And that concludes the compound women's team event. Coming up very shortly, we'll switch over to the men. Now it's time to turn our attention to the compound men's medal matches. Let's take a look at how the teams got to this stage. France coming through the top of the order, beating the surprise team Greece in the semi-finals, and Turkey beating Spain. So first up, we will have the bronze medal match between Greece and Spain, followed by the title match between France and Turkey.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the athletes.
Here they come for the compound men's team bronze medal match. We're going to see the Knight of Spain take on the surprise package that is Greece. Let's go back to the stadium for the team introductions.
On target number 1, representing Greece, Dimitrios Konstantinos Trakiotis, Stavros Soumertas, Andreas Zakarakis. On target number 2, representing Spain, Ramon Lopez, Miguel Angel Medina Horta, Jesus Jacinto Perez Gonzalez. Line judge for this match is Chava Ford.
Well, here we go. Time for bronze here. Spain versus Greece. The challenge of battling around the Greek names. Actually, fortunately for us, they're not too long here. Dimitrios Trakiotis, Stavros Soumertas, and Andreas Zakarakis lining up for the surprise package that is Greece. Against Spain, Roman Lopez, Miguel Medina Horta, and Jesus Perez Gonzalez. Fascinating route for the Greek team to get to this stage. And up to start things, it's the 31-year-old Andreas Zakarakis. Straight into the 10, and very keen to get back across the line, handing over to Dimitrios Trakiotis here. I wonder if that's a feature of this. With that wind buffeting again, getting out the shot and then getting off the line seems to be the key.
I have a feeling that their second archer there, he's obviously using a back tension release to take his thumb off and start pulling, whether they think he's going to take a little bit more time. So perhaps the first archer knows that he's got to be quick. Only got 20 seconds an arrow.
So now Stavros Komertas. Not a bad start from them, a 28 of a possible 30, who switch over to the Spanish side of the shooting line. And it's Jesus Gonzalez who will lead them out. Taking his time here.
He just had to reset his release there, didn't he? So, yeah, it is going to be tough. The wind keeps picking up like this, so you've got to be careful with that time. Big punch.
Miguel Orta second here. Brilliant turn there. And the blinker, interestingly, on the right-hand side.
Yeah. I mean, there's a big screen as well to the right there, and
good point, yeah.
I think the sun, you can see the shadow. So, yeah, it's a good place to have it for him, just to really get him to zone in into the target.
And dropping there into the 8s. So a better start from the Greek team. Now, I say their surprise package. They came through the ranking round of 2086 to be ranked 9th. Actually, Spain were below them at 14th. But the impressive thing about the Greeks is they took out the incredibly strong Danish team.
Yeah, and I believe they came from behind in that last end to win the match. So, you know, showing their strength and what they can do. It's going to be an interesting match here.
Well, they're shooting well here. Drakiotis getting out his second arrow a lot faster than the first one. And anchoring is Stavros Komertas. Took this one out of reach, potentially, and it looks like they have done as well. 57 can't be attained now by the Spanish team, so whatever happens, Greece are going to have a 1-point lead here. Gonzalez back on the shooting line, so they look like they're sticking with their orders, both teams here. And there we see that blinker on the cap of Miguel Dina Orta. And Ramon Lopez will be wanting a 10 to minimise the damage here. Put it into the 9, so it's a 3-point lead for the Greek team. And despite a slightly slow second shot for the Greek team, started pretty well, very confident.
Yeah, they have done. You know, running away with a 3-point lead already, showing their confidence they've brought with them here.
Yeah, looking very strong to give you the route to this bronze medal match. The Greek team beat Austria before an impressive victory over the Danish team. You can't say anything less than it was a superb victory over them. Losing to France by a couple of points in the semi-finals has brought them to this stage, and they're looking very strong against Spain, who beat the Netherlands. Another impressive victory there for the Spanish team before going on to command a victory over Switzerland and then losing to Turkey. The Spanish team have already got their work cut out for them. Wind still changeable. It was blowing hard at the beginning of the first end. Now it looks to have dropped off quite a lot.
Yeah, it really can play a factor. You know, when you've got conditions like this, I don't think any sort of lead is look at it then blowing. So anything can happen, which is quite exciting really. We've seen in earlier matches arrows going wide, so yeah, we're just gonna play this one out and see who can be on top.
Yeah, it's the gusty nature of the wind that keeps all of us on our toes, especially the archers on the shooting line. Time for end number 2. Spaniards trailing, so it's going to be Jesus Gonzalez, who's stepping up to the line first here for the Spanish team.
You can really see the wind going again now, so tough conditions to hold your bow still in this.
You can see it moving around. Oh, massive.
You could use a bit more time here. They've got 2 minutes in total, and if he runs over the clock at this point, wow, a 10 from it. So they might have a little less time now in the second 3 arrows, but that's okay as long as they can get them off. It might be a lull for them, they hope.
That was an incredibly impressive display of discipline there from Ramon Lopez, the 42-year-old. In fact, the teams are packed with experience. Lopez 42, Orta 41, and Gonzalez 39 for Spain. And it is in fact Drakiotis who's the youngster amongst all of them from the Greek team. See that bow moving again there. Comes away with a brilliant 10 there. So back to Gonzalez.
Big punch into the 9. Arrow just falling off the rest, just using his fingers there to pop it back on. You can see that little blade.
Shot that and got off the line quick, didn't he? But it's only an 8.
They haven't got time left because they used so much in the last end. They've got to get through these quickly. If you go over your time, you'll lose the arrow altogether.
Yeah, he wants to give Lopez as much time as possible here. Shot brilliantly in the first one. Got a great shot off there for a 10 as well. A 109 for them. Nikki, just quickly, the arrow falling off the rest there. Is that wind related as well?
It could be, or it could be a little bit shaking because they had to get through the shots quickly. So it could be a bit of either. But you can see these prongs. Most arrow rests now like a prong with that arrow sat on top. So they can fall off. You can get different widths. We shoot a narrow blade with these. Smaller arrows for outdoors and wider blades for the thicker arrows indoors. Now it's Greece's time to get hit by the wind.
Yeah, big time. Drakiotis just high of the 10 there. Oh no, it looks like he has got the 10, in fact. But another big opportunity here. Into the 9, so potential 6-point lead is just down to 5. A 114 plays a 109, so they've built up another couple of points. Okay, luck plays its part in all sport, even at the top level, and it does supposedly even out over the course of the season, but here Spaniards have had a real stroke of bad luck here with the wind hitting them so hard.
Yeah, you just can't control it. You've only got the time you have to get those arrows off. If you don't get them off in time, you'll lose the arrow. So, it's tough. They're pulling about 60 pounds. They're only holding perhaps about 15 pounds in the fingers. Most compound bows about 65 or maybe 75% let off. So you're not holding much at full draw, and that means you get buffeted around, and some of the archers are trying to counteract that with the weight that they have on the stabilisers. We've got that long rod out the front, a side rod. Most archers using one side rod with compounds now. You can see a good picture there of all that stack of weight, and that's helping them to try and keep the bow still. But you've got to be strong enough to hold that. You know, it's no use putting on all that weight when you're not strong enough for it. It'll only make you worse. So, you know, they built that up over a lot of time, that strength to be able to shoot in conditions like this.
Get a great view of how flat the arrows flying compound, travelling at such immense speeds, even through this wind. As you say, it's the founding point on the shooting line, being so solid on that shooting line that aids where the arrows initially going to go, because the smallest of margins or differences on the shooting line are amplified at the other end.
That's right, yeah. Found, you know, this is 50 metres, and really you don't have to aim off too much with compound because the speed of the arrow, it's 300 feet a second roughly, most of these bows, so it's them getting hit on the shooting line themselves that makes the biggest difference.
We're halfway through this bronze medal match at the European Championships between Spain and Greece. Spain trailing now by 5 points, and it's the not so speedy Gonzalez getting the Spanish team off the mark. Been impressive, Ramon Lopez, very calm, just going through his process. A great deal of discipline to hold on to a shot in the wind buffeted second end. 3 9s are all in the same sort of area, so they will be having a chat with each other, the Spaniards, about just bringing those down and into the 10. Brilliant first shot from Zacharakis.
You know, Greece is a windy island. I've shot there before, and you know, these guys are going to be used to these kinds of conditions, so I wonder whether the conditions here have really played into their hands.
The grouping was good from Spain. The grouping is great from Greece because they're all in the 10s. Now what have the Spaniards decided in their little break between the first 3 arrows and the second 3? Definitely lower.
Yeah, I think they made an adjustment, didn't they? The whole team went high, perhaps a headwind that dropped, and then all going high the beginning of this end. See that little bubble just about in the scope there, the compound archers use.
Well, 3-point gain for the Greek team through the first half of this end. They've got the potential for another 2 points here, but a reset here.
Yeah, I think again the arrow fell off the rest. He didn't quite manage to get to full draw to put back on, so it came down, using up some valuable time, and only an 8 from it.
So, given a point back there, damage could have been worse. Needs to get this one off very quickly. He gets into the 10. So how much time has he left for his teammate here? Mertis pops it into the 9, And look at that, the lead has gone up yet again. Despite the 8 on the reset for the 4th arrow for the Greeks, they have opened up the lead in the 3rd end to 6 points. And they're looking incredibly strong.
They really are. You know, I think they're just kind of used to these windy conditions. They're just ahead here on that basis. I think really they know how to deal with it, what to do, and probably quite comfortable.
Yeah, and there's the reset there, just not quite getting it on set up and ready to go. You talked about that. First off, where did you shoot in Greece? Was it international tournament?
Have shot internationals there, yeah, all over the place really.
And you talk about the conditions being windy there. There's many islands, of course, for Greece. The coastal conditions here in Antalya are almost exactly the same as they'd be shooting in the summer.
Probably pretty similar, yeah. Changeable conditions, you know, no consistency to it. You have to be really sharp on watching, what factors around the field are going to show you the best information and how to react to them. So, like I said before, with the compound, you might not have to aim off so much. It's really about trying to hold your body and your bow as still as possible. We're not robots, we can't hold it dead still, but maybe bobbling, the scope, leaning the bow slightly over, that sort of thing, which can help.
Well, the Greeks have had an impressive tournament here, beating the number 1 seeds Denmark en route to this bronze medal match. It looks like they are looking to capitalise on the opportunity to get a medal at the European Championships. They lead by 6 points over Spain, and it will be Jesus Perez Gonzalez who will lead the line out in the 4th and final end for the Spanish team.
You can see the long rod on this archer pointing down again. That can help putting the weight distribution a bit lower, which can help with holding the bow still. If you're wondering what that pink plastic is, it's a wraparound of a fibre pin, so he's looking at a bright fibre right in the middle of the scope. Brings a lot of light into it.
So that's actually going up underneath the scope and going into the scope, so he's looking through it.
Yeah, into the centre of the lens.
Another view of similar setup here for Dimitros Drakiotis. They're running off the line now. A little smile on the face of Komertis as well. Because you don't need to rush quite so much.
Movement there, wasn't there, before release, but a lovely 10 from it.
So a gain of at least 2 points. Potentially 3 in the first half for Greece already.
You just see him really punching those shots off at the moment. As he came into full draw, he hit the wall, came off the wall, and it's getting a little bit twitchy for me.
Solid second half though, 2 10s. Out comes a man who's as cool as ice. Roman Lopez doesn't seem to show any emotion at all. It looks like he's just dropped it into the 9. So 2:20 to finish for the Spaniards. Potentially a 2:21. Bear in mind that first arrow going to a measure. 2:29 available for the Greek team. Popped that out into the 8. So now we're looking at 2:27. So still bags of room, but they've just got to maintain their composure.
Nine.
It's the 9. It's more than good enough. A 6 to win. Handing over to Stavros Komertas. He's got bags of time here. He's taking a lot of it. And so when you look back at what they did earlier on in the first 3 arrows, running off the line, this is to buy enough time for this last arrow. And a 6 was required. He shot a 9. And believe it or not, Greece have just taken the European Championship bronze medal in the compound men's team event. What a fabulous performance by Dimitrios Drakiotis, Stavros Komertas and Andreas Zakarakis. Brilliant stuff from Greece. Bronze medal at the European Championships. Nikki, look, let's just focus on that Greek team. Did well, deserved the chance to shoot for a medal here, having beaten Denmark en route to this bronze medal match. And it just looked to me like they saw this opportunity. They thought it doesn't come along that often, and they stuck to their game plan. And they even had a tactic for that last end.
Yeah, I think this is probably one of the biggest upsets, seeing them come through the matches here in the team round, and what a fabulous performance. I think whether the weather has played into their hands at this tournament, they've known how to shoot in it better than other teams perhaps, and yeah, they've shot fantastically there and picked up the bronze medal.
Yeah, a great performance from them. Congratulations to them for taking the opportunity. Spain, look, they didn't shoot so badly, but again, a little bit of luck came into this, and bad luck unfortunately for them, as we see the bows raised high. The bronze medalists are Greece here, but Spain really just didn't have the luck, and then really couldn't pull it back together again.
Yeah, they got hit by the wind in a few occasions, and it just weren't the better team today. I think they need to go and just practice what they can in the windy conditions, and I'm sure they'll come back stronger.
Amazing stuff for the Greek team, though. But look, they've got a 19-year-old there in that team, Dimitrios Drakiotis. Stavros Komertas is 43, Andreas Zakarakis is 31. Maybe Komertas won't be around for ages, but we've seen that archers can carry on very deep into their 40s and even further. Will this inspire them to go on further? Are they likely to burst out onto the scene and we'll see them regularly on the podium?
I think it's definitely going to help their confidence, isn't it? Picking up a medal here at the European Championships. So yeah, why not? There's lots of tournaments through the year, European Grand Prix and obviously the World Cups. They'll want to be at and perform as best they can.
Great stuff from the Greek team. They are the bronze medalists at the European Championships. Now it's time for gold here in the compound men's team event in Antalya, the European Championships, where we will see France take on Turkey. Two big teams. Let's go back to the stadium for the introductions.
On target number 1, representing France, Quentin Barrère, Nicolas Girard, Adrien Gauthier. On target number 2, representing Turkey, Evren Çagiran, Furkan Oruç, Yakup Yildiz. The line judge for this match is Clement Cesar. And shooting first will be Turkey on target number 2.
Here we go. It's time for the gold medal match between France and Turkey. France line up with Adrien Gauthier, Nicolas Girard and Quentin Barrère. And Turkey have Yakup Yildiz, Furkan Oruç and Evren Çagiran in their lineup. Impressive teams here in this final. And at the moment, very tough to tell who's the favourite. Nikki Hunt, do you have a hunch?
Turkey coming in second ranked, France fifth. Turkey on their home field. I think they probably have the advantage.
It's going to be Turkey to shoot first, and looks like they've got their star player over in Kairan, the 28-year-old world number 5, to get us off the mark. Quick shooting as well. Into the 10. And he's the world number 45 at 24 years old, and this is the youngest member of the team, Jakob Yildiz. The world number 73, he's just 18. They put him into 3rd place. Be interested to see if they change their lineup, the Turks.
Yeah, they might do. As long as each archer only shoots 1 arrow in each segment, they can change the order in the 2nd segment.
France with their first 3 arrows, and starting with a 9 is Gerard. Also into the 9s.
Bit of a flinch on that first arrow. He went to push the trigger, didn't quite into the 8.
Gontier, highest ranked of the French archers, going in 3rd spot. Look at that wind again. Back up. Karayan shot first in the first rotation for the Turkish team, and he's shooting first again. And a massive wobble there.
It was the wind. You could just see him getting moved. Could the front arm. It was so tough in those conditions.
Well, all pulling over to the left, gets it into the 8 though. There's Fakan Uruk. This one is all over the place already. You can see the stabilizer there moving relative to the target, and those tiny movements, as small as they may seem, brilliant 10 from him to finish, do make a much bigger difference at the other end of the target. Yes, the arrows travel fast, and yes, it's only 50 meters, only 50 meters, but a small 1 millimeter difference at the shooting line can make well, tens of centimeters of difference at the other end. Back over to France, also pulling right here. The wind definitely playing a part now.
Yeah, it's really important now, the communication as a team. Where did you aim? You know, did you have to aim off? Did you have to tilt the bow and bubble slightly? You know, what's going on? So communication absolutely key.
Puts it into the 10. Barrera very happy with that. Handing over to Gontier. Needs a 10 to draw level with Turkey. Already banked to 53 through this first end. Just push that out to the right. So 52, minimising the damage there. Look, up and down. I don't think you can call this one at all at the moment. The wind has played a part in the first end here, affected both teams fairly equally. Are we going to have another match decided on who has the bad luck, effectively?
It can be, you know, when it's your time to shoot, you've got to shoot, and you know, it's tough if you get hit by the wind, and it's just a matter of doing the best you can with it. So it will play a massive factor, and like I said, Turkey, this is their home field. They've shot here a lot. They should know the field inside out and where to look to get the best kind of guidance, really, of where to aim or what to do. So, you know, I still think they've got the advantage here on that. Interesting difference in the sights, so that one a very little tiny dot. Others I've seen a more of a larger circle, so each archer chooses what they want to see down at the range, but a tiny little pin is going to be moving around a lot in these conditions, so it is tough.
Yeah, it certainly is. Remember, you're watching the European Championships. It was supposed to happen last year, but for reasons that we have said many times before, the competition was delayed last year. and it's happening this year for the first time in 3 years. The last competition was in Legnica in 2018, where France picked up the silver medal, losing to Great Britain actually in the final there, with Croatia taking the bronze medal. Here France will be looking to upgrade from their silver, but really need to, I hate to say this at top level international sport, cross their fingers and hope that they get the better of the conditions.
Yeah, it can come down to a little bit of that. Certainly in these finals it's such high pressure, and look at the wind again now, it's lulled, so get shooting quick.
Absolutely. Mini delay here. Another question for you, Nikki. Look, in some respects you could look at this European Championship and say, after the 18 months that we've had, how important is this? It doesn't count towards Olympic qualification. But on the other hand, it is a chance to shoot on a podium running into the Olympic Games. Now, I know compound is not a discipline in the Games, but having this tournament as a whole is important, not just because of the continental qualifier, but to give our top archers the best opportunity to really get back to the top of their game.
Yeah, with there only been 3 World Cups this season as well, so this is another tournament for these guys to come out and gain a valuable experience through the season, given, like you said, no outdoor internationals last year really. So yeah, it's a fantastic opportunity, and Turkey do this ever so well. You know, so many times we've been to this field. It's a great venue for archery, and yeah, they do it fantastically every time.
Yeah, good spot there as well with that World Cup. The last one, High-End Archery World Cup, coming up in a few weeks' time in Paris. I know a number of the teams have elected not to travel back home in between as well, staying out to, well, legitimately avoid domestic quarantine when they return home. Here, Turkey, well, it looks like the scores have been adjusted, and it's a 53 for the French team. That would explain the delay, because we were expecting France to come out first then, but Turkey remained on 53. France were upgraded to 53, and the Turks start the second end brilliantly with 2 10s. Kairan and Oruk leading the way for the 18-year-old Jakub Yildiz. Wow, they found the centre of the target, and look at the wind now. It has changed direction. It is coming straight at them. Staying fairly steady as well, and as you said earlier on, Nikki, the archers don't mind wind as long as it's consistent.
That's right, yeah. And it really makes a difference when it keeps changing, and you've got to be aware of that and aim off as you need to. Look at that. You see, they're proving how good they are when the wind conditions are consistent. All 5 of the 6 archers so far have shot straight into the 10 ring. So perfect 30 for the French team as well. So absolute proof that the wind plays a part in this sport. Yeah, these compounders would normally be shooting lots of 10s, 50 metres on an 80 centimetre face. Yeah, but the conditions playing the biggest part today. On for a perfect. Both teams. Furkan Oruk stepping up for his second arrow. Well, I think this will get a big cheer if he puts this into the 10. Limited spectators here, but there are some. Brilliant. 60 from them. Perfect score for Turkey. Puts them up to 113. Pressure on the French team for sure, but they'll be very happy with the fact that the wind is remaining fairly solid. And Nicolas Girard also into the 10s.
peu à gauche.
It's a
Allez,
9.
Adrien. Allez, Adrien. 30 secondes, t'as le temps. Allez, va la chercher.
Is there a little adjustment there? So there must have been some communication between Barrera and Gontier there.
Yeah, just telling each other what's going on, where to aim, but it didn't work sadly. His arrow going in exactly the same place as his teammate.
Yeah, so we've seen a couple of things there. Crucially, that when the wind is consistent, these top archers can absolutely handle it. With Turkey shooting a perfect 60 there. As soon as that wind dropped off, we then saw another crucial part of team competition. The archers talking to each other and saying, "Hey, teammate, listen, that was me. I made a mistake there. Don't you carry on shooting where we've been shooting, or you know what, the wind's just dropped off 20%. You need to just aim a little bit less to the left."
That's right, and it's absolutely key. They've got the coach behind them as well, who's usually got a scope, and they can tell them exactly where the arrow landed and confirm for them. So, yeah, that's really, really important.
And it's not just sharing the information, it's also listening to it. Now, you've got to imagine Gontier, with his experience and his talent and his knowledge of his teammates, would have listened to Barrera. And look, he's even saying, you know, thanks very much for the tip. But did he adjust enough? Is there a bit of a sort of, you start second questioning yourself?
Sometimes different archers have to make different types of adjustments, but you know, if your bow is a higher or lower poundage than someone else, most of these guys are going to be shooting 60 pounds, but might be slightly different speed of the bow and things. So yeah, it's not the same adjustment for every archer. They all know how much they need to adjust.
Well, we had a little bit of a surprise with the score coming out of the first, which was upgraded for the French team.
Yellow card there. He went too soon across the line, so judge pulled out a yellow card. If he proceeded to shoot that arrow, it would have been a red card and they would have lost the arrow. So he came off the line, it switched their order up, he put his arrow back in his quiver, and the second archer has come up now to shoot first.
Spot there.
9.
Allez, il n'y a que toi à la cible. Dessus.
And getting hit by the wind as well.
Yeah, so a little bit of over urgency from Nicolas Girard has already put the French team under pressure in this third end. Gontier looking as calm as he always does, though. Oh dear.
A little movement from him, didn't we? Just as he released, something went wrong. What absolute terrible end for the French team. I think they're just, you know, scuppered by that yellow card, has just put the pressure onto them, and it's all gone a little bit wrong. But the wind, as I say, playing a massive part again.
Yeah, but one opportunity here for the Turkish team. Massive.
Another flinch.
Yeah. So why are they flinching? I mean, is it contagious, or is that the wind?
That was definitely the wind. So again, Archer's a puncher, so he thought he was on the gold. He sort of went to go for it. It didn't happen, and the you know, these arms just kind of let off soft, and then he went back onto it again. So really tough conditions in this wind.
Well, the Turks still with this huge opportunity here. Look at how big the gap could be, as Yildiz could put them on 140 and give them an 8-point lead with 3 arrows each to go in this end. He's holding on for a while here, just waiting for it. He's pulled it right, but it's still a 5-point lead. They've had a gain of 3 points through the first 3 arrows. But look at the scores, 21 out of a possible 30, 24 for Turkey. Was a better opportunity, but with compound archers, we're expecting to see them there in the 10s. Good recovery from Nicolas Girard after a false start. Caused big issues for the French team, and I wonder what that clock is saying right now, the countdown clock.
Yeah, he had a good 55 seconds when he was at full draw there, so they did manage to regain their time, but I think it's just put, you know, a bit of pressure on them, a bit of nerves going through the team, which resulted in that not so good first part of the end here.
Look at the recovery from the French team. After shooting a 21 out of 30 in the first 3 hours, they shoot a perfect 30, showing their quality. And there's a little bit of a philosophical approach to the first 3 arrows there. having a good laugh at themselves. Kyran into the 10 as well. So look at that. Wind drops off halfway through, or becomes consistent, I should say. And Oruk up on the shooting line following Kyran's 10 with another one. See, look at that yet again. When the wind is consistent, these guys can put it into the 10 time and time again. They matched each other through the second half of that third end, but that was a critical first half, Nikki, wasn't it?
Yeah, so what happened there was the buzzer goes, and you're not allowed to go across that initial line until the buzzer is gone. So the judge obviously felt that the archer crossed that line too quickly, raised the yellow card. The archers were aware. Now, you have to come off that shooting line again, behind the waiting line, put your arrow back in your quiver, but instead, he just ran off the line and the next archer went on instead of him, which is a bit quicker. Hopefully these guys have practiced that, but it obviously put the nerves through them and I think really put them off in that first end.
Yeah, and the key thing here is that Quentin Barrera, who was lined up to go second, actually shot first. Because of that mistake, put it in the 9. He wasn't really affected. He was ready to go. Then Nicolas Girard, who made the mistake of stepping early, came out and he was hit by the wind. So you can't necessarily say he was affected too much, even though he scored a 7. But the big error came from perhaps the most experienced Adrien Gontier, who had this huge flinch. The first 3 arrows, I mean, each of them had their own little story, and they could potentially be the 3 arrows that mean silver medal again for France.
Yeah, it's really critical here going into this last end, and they've got that 5-point deficit now, so they've got a lot to do.
Well, I can let you know that I got it wrong, and you repeated my mistake. No, the scores have been corrected, measured. It's 166 now for Turkey, 162 for France. So still a healthy 4-point lead. You'd rather be in the Turkish shoes than the French ones. This is the final end and this gold medal match at the European Championships. Turkey looking to secure the title on home soil as France get off the line with Nicolas Girard hitting the 10.
Allez là. Allez captain. Allez gars.
Arrow just fallen off the arrow rest again, pushing it back on with his first finger. Didn't bother him, great shot. The conditions have lulled and Turkey really taking advantage of that.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant stuff from both teams though, 29s and 30s, but like you say, Nikki, taking advantage of it, but they have the lead. Pressure back on to the French side. Girard needs a big one. Popped it into the 9. They really need to maximise the score on these 2 arrows. 220 possible for the French team now. Can Adrien Gontier pop this last arrow into the 10 just to put a little bit of pressure on Turkey? just dropped into the 9. So a 2.19, very gettable for this Turkish team. Now, sometimes when you get up to the line, that's where you have your biggest jitters. Kairan looking calm here. Very quick arrow, giving his teammates not only the 10 that they so desire, but bags and bags of time. Furkan Oruk, the immense pressure of shooting at home for the European title in his hands at the moment. He's just clipped the 10 as well. And so a big finish here, just a 5 to win, but they'll want their second perfect 60 here. It is teenage sensation Jakub Yildiz. And he's popped it into the 10 ring as well. They finish with the perfect 60 and a 2.26 score for the Turkish team, giving them a 7-point win over the French team, who will have to settle for the silver medal again, having won it last time out in Legnica. So silver for the French team, but it's a home win and a European title for Jakub Yildiz, Furkan Oruk and Evren Kairan of Turkey. Well, big wobbles at the beginning of the match. We were all over the shop, as were the archers, with the buffeting conditions of the wind. There was a change around in the score as well. We thought that the Turks had taken a lead, but actually it was all level, as we see confirmation of Turkey taking the European title here in Antalya. But as things settled down and the wind became consistent, both teams demonstrated what they're capable of.
Yeah, I mean, Turkey just shooting really well there, weren't they? 2 ends of maximum score of 60 points. Fantastic shooting. I think that wobble from the French team with that yellow card in the 3rd end, that was the turning point where they just never came back from it. It just unsettled them on those first 3 arrows and unfortunately dropped too many points there to regain.
Yeah, that's it. And as we often say, it's just that one period of time. Sometimes even in a team match, it can just be one arrow that goes wayward, a flinch, the wind, whatever. But actually, it was a problem that they caused themselves because of an error from Nicolas Giral stepping out early. That really caused them that problem. Look, it's back-to-back silver medals for France, though. Not bad.
Not too bad at all. I mean, you know, if you'd given that at the beginning of the week, I'm sure they'd be happy. But having got to this position, you always want to walk away with gold.
The immense pressure, though, on the Turkish team shooting at home must have been incredible. They kept their cool, emotions overflowing at the end as Jakub Yildiz, at 18 years old, has joined the team and is now, I must say, he's a European champion. Fabulous performance from him, Furkan Oruk and Evren Kairan. Fist bumps all around, the French settling for silver yet again. Let's go and speak to the Turkish team.
Evren, kendi ülkenizde Avrupa şampiyonu oldunuz. Nasıl bir histi? Tebrik ederim.
Çok teşekkürler. Yani geçen 2 hafta önce de İsviçre'de Lozan'da Dünya Kupası'nda şampiyon olmuştuk. Burada da şampiyon olacağımıza inanıyorduk. Çünkü bunun için çok fazla çalıştık. Şu anda da dünyanın en iyi takımı olarak, puan olarak en üstteyiz, zirvedeyiz. Bu bizim için bir sürpriz olmadı. Söyleyeceklerim bu kadar.
Furkan, yarışmanın ikinci yarısı zorlu geçti. Hava şartları sizi nasıl etkiledi?
Kamp yaptığımız yerde hava şartlarına alışmıştık biraz. Burada da rüzgara rağmen yine de iyi atışlar yapmaya çalıştık. İstediğimiz sonucu aldık, beklediğimiz sonuçtu. Dünya şampiyonluğundan sonra Avrupa şampiyonluğunda dünyanın en iyisi olduğumuzu garantilemiş olduk.
Yakup, bu başarı takımınız ve ülkeniz için ne ifade ediyor?
Ya bizim için çok onurlu bir şey oldu. Bu Dünya Kupası'ndan sonraki Avrupa Şampiyonası'nda böyle takım olarak derece almamız cidden çok önemliydi bizim için. Ki zaten abilerimin dediği gibi de dünyada 1 numara olduğumuzu tekrar kanıtladık. Bizim için daha çok şeref verici bir olay oldu.
Tebrik ederim tekrardan.
Teşekkür ederiz. Sağ olun.
Well, I'd love to tell you what they said, but my Turkish is about as good as my Vietnamese, which is not very good at all. But, Nikki, really important for Turkey, who have not had the greatest tournament here in Antalya, to walk away with the European title. Does it mitigate some of the other perceived failures?
Yeah, they've come out as a team and they've performed really, really well, to be honest. So, you know, I think home advantage has helped them there in that gold medal final. I thought we'd see more of them and through the finals, but you know, they've done their job in that match.
They certainly have. It's time now for the medal ceremony here in Antalya for the compound men's team European medal winners. Some fantastic shooting today, and the weather has played its part throughout the week here in Antalya. Continues to do so on the medal day. To celebrate the European medal winners in the men's team event. Presentation to a very, very small audience here. The surprise package and a welcome package to the podium here in Antalya. It's Greece. They beat Spain in the bronze medal playoff. It is Dimitrios Drakiotis, Stavros Kometas and Andreas Zakarakis. And there we see a repetition of what we saw earlier on, that the teams offering medals to each other there. They got a silver medal at the last European Championships in 2018 in Legnica. They've had to wait for this delayed European Championships for 12 months, and it's silver again for France. From left to right, Nicolas Girard, Quentin Barrère and Adrien Gontier receiving their silver medals. Having struggled on home soil at this tournament throughout the week, Turkey have had to rely on the compound men's team to secure a gold medal here. Evren Kayran, Jakob Yildiz and Furkan Oruk, men standing on the podium. And it was a spectacular performance from them in these tricky conditions. 2 60s in the final. 2 perfect scores in 2 of the ends, and pretty consistent in the other 2. Have taken them to the European title, and they get to celebrate with their anthem. Well, there we have it. The men have celebrated their medals. Turkey on top of the podium. France in second place for the second time in a row. And the surprise and very welcome package of Greece in third spot. Greek team taking a bit of a selfie there on the podium as well. I'm sure.
We will be back live at 2 p.m. with the mixed team.
So that's the end of the action here in this first session on Compound Saturday. 2 of the disciplines sorted out, compound men's team and compound women's team. Let's have a look at the final order of the compound men's team. Turkey winning the European title on home soil and beating France, who had a massive wobble in the third end in the final. Greece, the surprise and very welcome bronze medalist, beating Spain in their playoff. A brilliant first session here on Compound Saturday. A But there's a lot more to come later on today. In just over 2 hours' time, we will turn our attention to the individual tournaments and, of course, the mixed team event as well, as we take a look back across for our first session on Compound Saturday. Nikki, any particular highlights? We're looking back at the women's competition here.
Yeah, I think the overall highlight for me was the Greek team and the men's. You know, they really were a surprise to come all the way through and pick up that bronze medal. So yeah, really great shooting from them. Yeah, it was great to see them out there. Particularly impressed in the women's event with Lola Grandjean teaming up with Dodemont and Renaudin for France, and there she is to take the gold medal for the French team over the Netherlands. Very strong looking women's team there in the compound. As we get a look back at Lopez there, who showed his steel through the bronze medal match in the men's competition. Spain not quite at the races against the Greeks. Nikki's highlight of the day, and I think highlight for many a neutral here. The Greeks beating Denmark, the #1 ranked team, on their way to a bronze medal win here at the European Championships. And whilst France will be disappointed with a silver medal, a second silver medal in the men's compound, having taken silver in Legnica, Poland, they were on the podium again in the men's competition. Turkey taking the European title here on home soil. Thank you, Nikki Hunt, and thanks to all of you. Join us in a couple of hours for the individual medal matches.